My name is Rose. That's my dad. And welcome back to Ramble on Rose. Now, if you're new here, welcome. Let's get into this.
All right. Well, we're in Act 3, Scene 4 of the Scottish play. And spoiler alert, there's a ghost about to appear.
What?
Yes, I said ghost. All right, so we start with a banquet that's prepared, and enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords, and attendants. And before we start, I should point out that there's an etiquette that goes with kings and banquets and all that. The king always sits at the head of the table since, he's the most important one. And then all of the lords sit at the table based on their rank. So the most powerful lords are closest to the king, and the least powerful ones are farthest away down the table. And it's a big, long table. Yep. And then also there's a rule that nobody starts eating until the king starts eating. It's kind of like a birthday party. It's like every day is the king's birthday, is a way to look at it.
I wish I was queen. Or king, technically.
And it starts out, Macbeth, you know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome. They sit. Lords, thank you, your majesty. Macbeth, ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome. Lady Macbeth, pronounce it to me, sir, to all your friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome. So everything's good so far. Enter first murderer or hitman at the door. Macbeth. Yeah. Macbeth.
I got all these sound effects.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Up.
You're booing the murderer because they just killed Banquo. Macbeth. See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. And he sits. Be large in mirth. Anon will drink a measure, the table round. And he rises and he goes to the door. So he sits down so everyone can start drinking and partying and stuff like that. And he can go talk to the murderer.
Wait, who was it again?
The murderer. And he turns to the murderer and he said, there's blood upon thy face.
How is there blood?
And murderer says, 'tis bank.
We're doing it every time we hear the M word.
Murderer, 'tis Banquo's then, Macbeth. 'Tis better thee without than he within. It's better.
We're supposed to call them hitmen, by the way.
Okay, well, I'll switch over. 'Tis better thee without, and so you standing outside the door, than he within, meaning Banquo. Is he dispatched? Which means...
We get it. You couldn't even see that because he's so far down.
Hitman.
Wait. Oh, okay. I was about to say...
Hitman says, my lord, his throat is cut.
Like, dun, dun,
and
dun.
That I did for him. Macbeth, thou art the best of the cutthroats, yet he's good that you did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the non-parial. Hitman, most royal sir, Fleance escaped. Macbeth, then comes my fit again. So he's starting to freak out. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. And now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound to saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe? Hitman, aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trench gashes on his head. The least a death to nature. Macbeth, thanks for that. There the grown serpent lives, and the worm that fled hath nature in time will venom breed. So in other words, he's saying Fleance is like the worm, but in time he will become a venomous snake to Macbeth. No teeth for the present, so he doesn't have teeth for the present, but he will when he grows up. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again. Exit, Hitman. Lady Macbeth, she sees what happens. She says, my royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, that it is not often vouched. While 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to
I think
meat
she's really evil.
is ceremony. Meaning were bare without it. Enter the ghost of Banquo and sits on Macbeth's place. So he's sitting on the chair. So he's sitting on the chair that Macbeth has to sit on to start the meal. Macbeth, sweet remembrancer, now good digestion, wait upon appetite, and health on both. And Lennox turns to him and says, may it please your highness, sit, because they all want to eat. Macbeth, here had we now our country's honor roofed, where the grace person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance. Ross, his absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please, to your highness, to grace us with your royal company. In other words, please just sit down so we can eat. Macbeth, seeing his place occupied by the ghost.
What up? So okay.
Seeing his place.
Ghost. Okay.
And Macbeth says, the table's full. Lennox, here is a place reserved, sir. Macbeth, where? Lennox, here, my good lord. It's not funny. This is a very intense scene.
No.
Here, my good lord.
They're probably like inside laughing in their head.
What is it that moves your highness? Macbeth, which of you hath done this? Lords, what, my good lord? So they realize that he's seeing something. They don't know what he's talking about. They think he's going crazy. Macbeth, thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me. So he's actually talking to the ghost. It's too bad we don't have ghost sounds right now. Much better. Ross, gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well. And they all start to rise. Lady Macbeth jumps in to try and save the day. All right, that's enough for the ghost. Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought, he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. And she confers apart with Macbeth. Are you a man? She asks. Macbeth, I, a bold one, that dare look on that which may appall the devil. He's referring to the ghost. Lady Macbeth, oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. In other words, this is something in your mind, the fear in your mind. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire. authorized by her grandame. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When it's all done, you look but on a stool, and as you're looking at an empty chair. Macbeth. Prithee, see there, behold, look, lo, how say you? Why, what care I, if thou canst nod? Speak too. So he's speaking to the ghost. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monument shall be the maws of kites. Exit ghost. Lady Macbeth. What? What, quite unmanned in folly? Macbeth. If I stand here, I saw him. Lady Macbeth. Fie, for shame. Macbeth. Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since too murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The time has been that, when the brains were out, and the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from their stools. This is more strange than such a murder is. Lady Macbeth. My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you. In other words, you need to pay attention to your friends. Macbeth, approaching the table. I do forget, do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love, and health to all. So he's drinking a toast. Then I'll sit down. Come, give me some wine. Fill full. And he's given some wine, so he's going to try and drown his
sorrows away.
Yeah, and then enter ghost again. And we hadn't talked about it. It doesn't really say what the ghost looks like, but you can imagine. Turn that down a little bit. You can imagine that in a play he would be, because you can't really. He would probably, his face would be like whitened, like he was a corpse, and there would be blood all over his neck, and probably blood pouring down his clothes and stuff like that. I drink, and then Macbeth continues, I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Where would he be here? To all, and to him we thirst, and all to all. And lords, our duties and the pledge. And they all drink. Macbeth, seeing the ghost. Avaunt, and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless. Thy blood is cold. In other words, thou hast no speculation in those eyes, which thou dost glare with. In other words, it's like his eyes are seeing right through him. Lady Macbeth, think of this, good poet peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time. Macbeth, what man dare, I dare, approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hecate tiger. Take thy shape, but that in my firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with my sword, and trembling I inhabit them. Protest me, the baby of a girl, hence horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence. The baby of a girl, let's see what that 107. Baby of a girl, or a girl's doll. Exit ghost. Why, so being gone, I'm a man again. Pray you, sit still. So he's back to his old self. Lady Macbeth, you have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting. with most admired disorder. So she's saying, you've ruined the party, Macbeth. Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear. So he is white as a ghost now from what he's seen. Ross says, what sights, my lord? Lady Macbeth, I pray you speak not. He grows worse. So he says to Ross, don't bug him about it. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Send not upon the order of your going, but go at once. So she tells them, she breaks up the party and she says, y'all just get out of here. Good night and better health attend his majesty, says Lady Macbeth. A good night to all, exuent lords and attendants. So they're left there by themselves. Macbeth, it will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood.
And blood will be the blood of the blood of the blood will be the blood of the blood, whose blood will be the blood of 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 the blood. And then the blood would be the blood, and then the other blood would be the blood, and then that blood would be that blood. So then that blood would minus that blood, then plus that blood, it would be blood. Thank you.
Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and coughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night, Lady Macbeth? Almost at odds with morning, which is which? Macbeth, how sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding? Lady Macbeth, did you see him, sir? Macbeth, I hear it by the way, but I will not sin. But I will sin. So he's noticed that Macduff did not come to the castle to the feast, and he realizes that Macduff may be an enemy. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and bedtimes I will to the weird sisters. So he's going to go back to the witches. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know, and by the worst means, the worst, for mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that I
all the blood
should have made, I should wade no more. So he feels like he's wading in blood. It's a great image.
Okay,
returning.
So basically, the blood is in the blood, then a pile of blood goes in the blood, and then that blood goes in that blood, right?
If you say so.
I mean, it makes only sense. If the blood technically goes to the blood, then the actual blood would go in the blood, right? Or then, if you subtract that blood and then plus one more pint of water, it'd be blood, right? Right?
Yes,
Blood.
if you will. Let me finish. We're almost at the end of the scene.
Oh. I need to know these answers.
Stepped in so far that I should wade no more. In other words, he's about to drown in blood. Returning were as tedious as go over. Strange things I have in head.
Okay, so then the blood would go in the pool of blood. So he's drowning in the blood.
Right.
But then if you add more blood, doesn't the pool of blood fall over? I'm just saying.
Strange things I have in head. Stranger things? Strange things I have in head. That will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned. Lady Macbeth, you lack the season of all natures, sleep. Macbeth, come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed. Exeunt. end of scene 4.
All right. I think we should finish it up right now.
Yeah, I'm just going to edit it and we'll finish these other scenes. And then, yeah, we actually just have 2 short scenes. And then we'll be on to Act 4 and then Act 5 and then we'll be done.
Wait, 5 is it?
But anyway, yeah, the next scene is the witches scene, so we need to prepare for that. This is...
We're still recording. We're still recording.
Okay, so which character is your favorite so far?
The dead one.
You didn't get to know him very well.
No, but I like him more than any other characters, especially the witches.
What about the witches? You don't?
I just said that.
You don't want to hear from any more witches?
No, because they're witches.
Well, I'm sorry, you're out of luck, because the next scene has witches, and it starts with thunder.
Whoop. Okay.
Enter the 3 witches meeting Hecate.
Why? How now, Hecate? You look angrily. Help.
Hecate, have I not reasoned, bedlams as you are, saucy and overbold? So she's accusing them of, saucy is accusing them of being saucy.
Saucy?
So doing, being reckless, in other words.
So are they honey mustard or are they wait, no, not oregano. Are they ketchup?
How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? See, she rhymes. And also, little note, they actually, this is iambic tetrameter, which means it's only 4 double syllables long instead of the normal iambic pentameter, which is 5 double syllables. Just a little thing there. So that the witches actually speak in a little bit different cadence and rhythm than normal people, and they also rhyme.
Strange.
Yeah. It's to make them look different and kind of spooky. Like every word that they're saying is like they're casting a spell. And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to hear my part or show the glory of our art. So in other words, they did it an amateurish, they didn't, do it on the scale that she wanted.
Like they didn't conquer the world or anything.
They didn't bling it out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's been no spell cast or anything like that. So all they did was just basically whispered in his ear.
That's called manipulation.
Well, I think she's kind of like the mother hen, that she's coming and she's seeing that they've done something and she's bossing them around. And which is worse, all of you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves his own ends, not for you. So Macbeth is selfish and ambitious and greedy. But make amends now. Get you gone at the pit of the Acheron. You remember what the Acheron River is? It was one of the rivers in Romeo, Juliet, Hamlet. No, from Percy Jackson. From Edith Hamilton. There were 3 rivers in this place. You had to pay the boatman to cross.
No.
Hades.
Oh.
They're witches. Hades.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to delete all this? Because it's pretty embarrassing. We just read the book.
Months ago.
And your teeth are blue.
That's me for you.
It wasn't months ago. It was about a month ago.
And our teeth aren't blue in the camera.
Meet me in the morning, she says. Thither he will come to know his destiny. So she's gotten word that he's coming to get more, another prophecy. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. this night I'll spend until a dismal and fateful end. Great business must be wrought ere none upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that distilled by magic sleights.
Sleights? Are they like lights?
A sleight is like a trick, and they've already been tricking him, and they're going to trick him some more. Shall raise such artificial sprites, and sprites are like
Hold on. Let's pause the book. Okay, so basically, what I think is happening is, or what happened with Macbeth is, he got really, really dumb and, like selfish, and he was like paranoid when he told his wife, and the wife got really greedy and selfish and told him to kill him. And
you sure are putting a lot of blame on the wife. All she did was get the daggers and wipe the blood off.
And forced him to do it because you don't love me.
Yeah.
And also, she wanted to unsex herself.
Yes. Let us not forget that.
Yeah,
So
she's very greedy and selfish of herself.
So she says, and you'll see, is basically they're going to put on a big dog and pony show. They're going to have a cauldron. They're going to have things appearing out of nowhere. It's, and that's what she's telling them to get ready for. As by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion, he shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. In other words, he's not going to, after he talks to them, he's not going to be worried. No, he's not going to be worried about dying again. And they're going to trick him again because he's worried that the Fleance got away and so on. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. This is music and song. We need music and not sing something. What would witches say?
I just killed a rat.
No, it actually
on a chandelier.
It says "come away, come away." So do it in a witchy way.
Come away.
Come away. Come away. Come away.
That's a ghost.
Yeah,
you need to get up on your Halloween.
All right, your big line is about to come up. The first witch is coming up. I just want you to get ready for the first witch line. So you don't blow it. You have to turn the page. Hark, I am called. So she's just about to leave. My little spirit sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me, and she exits. And then from within we hear, "Come away, come away." And then the first witch says,
"Come, let's make haste. She'll be back soon, again."
Excellent. Scene 6. Enter Lennox and another lord. Lennox, my former... No, it's not. No, we don't need that.
Why do we have
this is back at the palace. My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret farther. Only, I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied by Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if it please, Fleance killed. For Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought of how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain. The
microphone! Whoops! We're having technical difficulties.
To kill their gracious father. Damned fact. How it did grieve.
Language!
I
don't care. I was just using it for comical.
The Queen's English. How did it grieve Macbeth? Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear. So he's just recounting the story of how Macbeth killed the two guards in rage. But they were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep. Was it not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too. For 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I should say, he has borne all things well, and I do think that he, Duncan's son, under his key, are as to please heaven, and he shall not. They should find that 'twere to kill a father, so should Fleance, but peace from the broad words, and 'cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast. I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. So the fact that he didn't show up at the feast, his name is mud around the kingdom. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself? So where is Macduff hanging out these days? Lord, the son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace, that the malevolence of fortune, nothing takes it from him high respect. So he has fled to England, and he's hanging out with the English king, which is kind of the enemy of the Scottish king. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Sitward, that by the help of these, and with him above, to ratify the work, we may again give our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets, bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report has so exasperated the king that he prepares for some attempt of war. So the king is preparing for war. He knows it's coming. Lennox, sent he to Macduff? Lord, he did, and with an absolute, Sir, not I. The cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums, and who should say, you'll true the time that clogs me with the answer. Lennox, and that well might advise him a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England, and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return upon our suffering country under a hand accursed. So they're saying that their Macbeth's hand is accursed and their country is suffering because of them. So everybody's sort of talking openly about what happened. And the Lord, I'll send my prayers with him, and they both exuent. So that is the end of Act 3, and I can promise you that we are going to be hearing from more witches soon, so get your cauldron ready.
I don't have a cauldron, but my mom does.
Any thoughts so far? Do you like Hecate? Could she be your favorite character?
Yeah, she might be.
All right, yeah.
She's a little better than all the other characters, I can tell you that.
But she wants to bring professionalism to the witch profession.
Yes. I guess. Okay.
I guess that was redundant.
Should we? Yeah.
Yeah, so let's take it out.
Okay. Make sure to like, share, comment, and have a great day. Awkward long pause. Awkward long pause. Your belly's just like dancing to it. I can't.
It's off camera.
I know, but it's adorable.
Goodbye, everyone.